Good morning. Am I audible clearly? Okay. Yes, good morning. Good morning, everyone. Okay, so I was talking about elasticity of demand in the last class. Today I will be talking about the different ranges of elasticity of demand, and that has also been done, price elasticity of demand and its different ranges. So today I'm just going to recapitulate the other types of elasticity, that is cross price elasticity and income elasticity, because that was discussed at the end of the class, at the end of the last class. So I will quickly recapitulate it, and then I will go to elasticity of supply. So I'm going to finish this subtopic today, and in from the next class onwards we are going to touch upon the next subtopic, which is production and cost. So yes, that is going to be done. And I had posted the materials on the classroom. So yes, Diposhri, good morning. Hi. So I had posted the class in the classroom. I had posted the materials. Please keep an eye over there, and expect 1 2 assignments during this weekend, because we have already done. We are at the end of subtopic 2, so you can expect assignments from now on. Assignments, not long answers. I will just be sending out Google Forms, or I will just be sending out a few MCQs. That can be in the form of Google Forms, or that can be handwritten. So that depends. I haven't decided the how I haven't decided the pattern, but just it will be MCQs. So no long answers. So that's it. Quiz, sort of quiz assignments. Yeah, I'll wait for a few more people to join, because I can only see 11 people are watching right now. Uh, okay, let's wait till 10:30, and then 13 we can start. Good morning, Shreyoshi. Hi. Good morning, Shorab. Good morning. আজকের topic, Shorab, I was discussing elasticity of demand in the last class. So আজকে I will recapitulate a little bit of it, and I will talk about cross price elasticity and income elasticity, because that was discussed at the end of the last class. So I will quickly recapitulate it once more, and then I will go to elasticity of supply, and that is the last topic of discussion of this particular module. Yeah. Hi, good morning, everyone. Good morning. I'm good. Thank you. I will upload today's PPT also, because I have moderated the elasticity PPT a little bit, because the PPT that I had posted, that doesn't include the elasticity of supply part. I'm good, thank you. That doesn't include the elasticity of supply part. So what I'm going to post today, that is the updated one. So please do download it and read it from there. And I will also post a few study material for you, because we all need a printed version of something, for the exam preparation and stuff. We need a printed version of something. Are you? Let me ask you: are you following any book for economics? I'll tell you. Midterm syllabus, I'll tell you in the next class. No, I want to ask you, are you following any book for economics? Not yet. Okay, I will send out a few materials for you guys that will be posted. Yes. Okay, that will be posted in the Google Classroom. So not an issue. You can read it from there. Okay. Okay. Because we all need a printed version, to prepare for exams and other things. So you can read it from there. You can take a printout, or if you are comfortable to read soft copies, that is also good. But the thing is, do not mug up anything from there. I don't want you to, remember things and write, because you need to understand the concept clearly. And if you do understand the concept, then you can write it on your own. I tell this to everyone, whenever I'm teaching economics, it is very important to understand the concept. So once you are clear with the concept, that is why I always say that stop me. I will. Please keep an eye on the classroom. I will. Definitely. Obviously, if you are uncomfortable with any of the topics or any of the things that has been discussed in class, just stop me. I can explain it again. But please do not go home with doubts. Do not leave the class with doubts. That is the thing I want for my students. And when you are writing answers, you have to understand the concept very clearly. If you do understand the concept, you will get the question and you will be able to write it on your own. You don't need any but the book you need to understand to apply the economic terminology. Economic terminology is when you are writing your answers. Economic terminology, that application is important. So write the answer on your own, but do apply the economic terminology. That's why we need a book or a printed version of something, or some study material to read it from there. So that is why. Okay, then without wasting any further time, I will start the class. Only 30 people are there, I can see. Please let me know if you can see my screen. Is my screen visible to you? I think it is. Right. Okay. So we have done elasticity. We were doing elasticity. Elasticity, as we all know, that it was done in the previous week. So elasticity, as we all know, that it is the responsiveness of change in demand or supply to the change in price. So that is what we call price elasticity of demand. Price elasticity of demand means, we know what demand means, okay? And price elasticity of demand means that if price changes by 1%, then by what percentage my demand is going to change. And elasticity is always calculated in terms of percentage. It is never calculated in an absolute manner. Just the thing that the mistake that people had done in one of the classes, that when I told them to calculate the elasticity, they used the absolute quantity. No, what you have to do is you have to measure elasticity in terms of percentage change in quantity demanded and percentage change in price. So it is a measure of how much the quantity demanded of a good responds to a change in the price of that good. Now we all know the formula of elasticity of demand, price elasticity of demand, or in short, we also call it PED. In short, we also call it PED, price elasticity of demand. So it is the formula is the percentage change in quantity demanded divided by the percentage change in price. That is as simple as that. Now, we have computed the price elasticity of demand using the formula. So this is the way you compute the price elasticity of demand for a particular commodity. The change in demand will be given. You have to calculate the percentage change, and the change in price will be given. You have to calculate the percentage change, and you get the ratio and you get the elasticity value. Remember always that if it is a normal commodity like the one that is given in the example ice cream, please do write a minus sign before the price elasticity of demand, because we all know that there is a negative relationship between demand and price. So whenever price will increase, demand will decrease. So obviously the percentage change in quantity demanded will be negative, and percentage change in price will be positive. So negative by positive is equal to negative. So always put a minus sign before the price elasticity of demand. Okay. And these are the ranges of elasticity we had discussed: inelastic demand and elastic demand. Okay. So this is the perfectly inelastic demand, where the demand curve is vertical, which indicates that no matter what price, by what percentage price changes, it goes up or goes down, demand remains unchanged. That means it's a perfectly inelastic demand. And elasticity is less than 1. This is the inelastic demand. Inelastic demand means that price changes by some percentage, but quantity changes in a lesser percentage. So it is relatively inelastic, but it is not perfectly inelastic. It is relatively inelastic. Okay. And unitary elastic means that by what percentage the price will change, by the exact same percentage, the quantity will also change. Here we can see that 25% increase in price is resulting into 25% decrease in quantity. So 25 by 25 equals to 1. Elasticity is greater than 1, which means that the percentage change in price is less than the percentage change in quantity. Here we can see only 25% increase in price, but it leads to a 50% decrease in quantity. So it means that the elasticity is very high. It is greater than 1. And again, at last, we have elasticity equals infinity. That means that if price goes up by very few percentage, price goes up by a slightest amount, then demand is going to be 0. So the value of elasticity here is equal to infinity, because the percentage change in price is small. Even if it is, no matter how small it is, the resulting change in demand is going to be 0. So it is elasticity, the value of elasticity is equals to infinity. Okay. So, and determinants of elasticity of demand, this we have also seen. So I'm not going into the details of it, and because we have discussed it in the last class also. And so what I need to rediscuss is, I feel that at the end I had discussed these two things: income elasticity of demand. Now we all know that the determinant of demand is not only price. Yes, price is perhaps the most important determinant of demand, but it is not the only determinant of demand. Apart from price, there are other things which determines a person's demand as well. The most important non-price determinant of demand is income. Okay. So whenever a person's income increases, suppose your income increases, now you feel relatively richer and you will obviously increase your consumption of goods and services. So whenever your income goes up, your demand goes up. Okay, so there is a positive relationship between income and demand. So income elasticity of demand measures how much the quantity demanded of a good responds to a change in consumers' income. Price elasticity of demand measures the responsiveness of change in demand to the change in price. But income elasticity of demand measures the responsiveness of change in demand to the change in the consumer's income. Okay, that is called income elasticity of demand. And the formula remains the same, just replace price with income. It is computed as the percentage change in the quantity demanded divided by the percentage change in income. So let's see, how do we compute it? Income elasticity of demand is equal to percentage change in quantity demanded divided by percentage change in income. Now, let me tell you that since for a normal commodity, remember, again I'm saying this, for a normal commodity, like commodities which are normal, means not of inferior quality. These type of normal commodities means they don't have any special characteristics. Normal commodities means, so the example of normal commodity would be food, clothing, books, mobile phones. They are nowadays mobile phones are not luxury. It is a normal commodity. Okay, we cannot say it's a luxury. It is a normal commodity. And other things, these commodities are called normal commodity. And as long as your commodity is normal commodity, income elasticity of demand, the value of income elasticity of demand is always positive. So it will be negative. Now can you tell me, it will be, the value of income elasticity will be negative for which kind of commodity? So the value of income elasticity negative means what? Whenever your income is increasing, you are decreasing the consumption of such commodity. So can you give me a few example of for which the income elasticity of demand will be negative? Now this is a thought provoking question. Okay, so yes, can you? What if the price reduces? Okay, for what? Yes, obviously, for price elasticity of demand, if the price reduces, okay, the quantity demanded is going to increase. Okay, if the price reduces, I'm replying to Amorto. He has asked, what if the price reduces? If the price reduces, then the percentage change in price is less and it is negative. Okay, and the percentage change in quantity will be positive. So positive by negative is it's again negative. Yes, Shourab Banerjee is saying quality of food. Quality of food, how does demand affect inflation? Okay, Omarto, your question is well. Now, individual demand doesn't affect inflation. What you are speaking of is aggregate demand. Now, aggregate demand we haven't been to. Aggregate demand is something else. Aggregate demand is a concept of macroeconomics, and inflation is also a concept of macroeconomics. Now we are talking about, now our focus is on microeconomics. Okay, so we are focusing on individual demand rather than aggregate demand. So when I will discuss aggregate demand, I will definitely let you know how does it affect inflation. Yeah, more income, more luxury food. No, my question to you was, ma'am, income elasticity of demand is negative for items like cosmetics. How come? No, see, income elasticity of demand will be negative means what? Whenever your income goes up, you will start buying less of those commodities. Whenever your income increases, you will start buying lesser quantity of those commodities. So when does it happen? Obviously, cosmetics is such a product. Obviously, for that, income elasticity of demand can't be negative. Because if your income is not high, sometimes you can't afford those cosmetics. Okay. So no, My question to you is, for which type of commodities, whenever your income, think about yourself. Suppose suddenly you become rich. Yes, Choyon is saying inferior goods, also known as Jiffin goods. Uh, well, cereals at low price. Okay, cereals at low price. So basically, yes, inferior goods which are of inferior quality, or goods which are usually, consumed by people who belong to lower income group, those goods are called inferior goods. Okay, so inferior goods are those goods which are of inferior quality, and those goods which are usually, consumed by lower income group people. So whenever your income increases, obviously you will stop buying, or you will reduce the consumption of inferior goods. So can you give me an example of inferior goods? Yes, cereals at low price or low quality cereals. Yes, that is fine. That is, I agree. Any other example of inferior goods? Goods which are of inferior quality. For example, I can give you one example, like the rice, the quantity of rice that you get from ration shops. Obviously, when your income increases, you will no longer, when suppose you are living below poverty line. So obviously you can't afford it. You can't afford to buy, rice from the outside shops. So you go to ration shops and you have a ration card and you get the rice from there, but the quality is not that high. Now, once your income increases and you come up above the poverty line, so obviously now you can afford the better quality rice and you will go to your nearby shop and you will buy it. You will no longer go to the ration shop, will you? Yes. If our income increases, we will not buy cheap products, so demand of cheap products decrease. Cheap, cheap is a strong word. Inferior quality products. Cheaper cars are examples of the inferior goods. Yes, of course. So these are the examples of inferior goods, or the goods for which, income elasticity of demand would be negative. Okay, so types of goods, and that how does it determine the income elasticity? So as I told you, for normal goods, like for example this book, for normal goods, income elasticity is positive. As your income goes up, for this mobile phone, so this is a mobile phone, and nowadays it is a normal commodity. It is no longer a luxury item because we all need it, right? And whenever your income goes up, you try to buy, new models, or you try to buy expensive phones. You will no longer buy a phone that is of 10,000 rupees or 12,000 rupees. If you can afford it, you can buy an iPhone. So this happens, when your income goes up, income elasticity of normal goods is positive. Inferior goods, goods which are of inferior quality, income elasticity is negative. Okay, and because higher income raises the quantity demanded for normal goods but lowers the quantity demanded for inferior goods. Okay, understood. Understood. Now, there is another catch which is not mentioned here, but I would like to share it with you. Now, another product, normal goods is some goods which we usually buy on a daily basis. And inferior goods are those goods which are of inferior quality and usually are consumed by the, lower income group people. There is another good, that is luxury good. Luxury good as in MacBook or an Audi car. Okay, luxury good. So, can you tell me what is going to be the value of income elasticity for luxury goods? Can you tell me what is going to be the value of income elasticity for luxury goods? Use and throw pens. Yes, very good. My question to you is, what is going to be the value of income elasticity for luxury goods? Tell me from your own understanding. I said for normal commodity, it is greater, it is positive. For inferior commodity, it is negative. Moinak is saying it's positive. For luxury goods, it's positive. But yes, it's positive. It is greater than 0. But is it greater than 1 or less than 1? Is it greater than 1? It will remain constant for luxury goods unless my income becomes really very high. Suppose, okay, stranger storm, I don't know your name. Suppose, assume that your income increases. Your income goes up and it's really very, very high. Yes, it is greater than 1. Why? Why it is greater than 1? Income elasticity for luxury goods is greater than 1. Why? Because if your income increases, you will have to maintain a status in the society. Because why do we consume luxury goods in the first place? Try to understand the psychology. Why do we consume luxury goods in the first place? Have you noticed ever that for every iPhone cover, back cover, for every iPhone back cover, they always cut out the Apple logo? I mean, why is it required? Because people want it that way. They want to show it off that they have an iPhone. That's back cover is always that's a round shape which is cut off so that the Apple logo can be visible. So that happens, that is the basic psychology. When it is a luxury good, when your income goes up, you will try to buy. Suppose Audi is your dream car and your income becomes really, really very, very high. So, but it is not as high as you can afford an Audi, but you take it since it is a luxury good and people are going to praise you and things like that. So you buy it. So your change in quantity demanded is way higher than your change in demand, than your change in income. So your change in quantity demanded is way higher than your change in income for a luxury good, because usually luxury goods are overpriced. So obviously, for all luxury goods, the value of income elasticity of demand is always greater than 1, because the numerator is always going to be greater than the denominator. That is why. Okay, is it understood or should I need to repeat it again? For normal commodity, it is positive. For inferior commodity, it is negative. And for luxury commodities, it is greater than 1. The income elasticity of demand, it is greater than 1. Do I need to repeat it again? Did everyone understand? Okay. So now we come to cross price elasticity of demand. It is very easy to understand. In fact, this is a type of elasticity that looks at the impact of change in the price of one good has on the demand of another good. Suppose X and Y are two commodities. They are related. They can be substitute. They can be complement of each other. Now, if the price of Y increases, then how it is going to affect the demand for X? That is measured by the cross price elasticity of demand. So, impact of change in price of one good on the demand of another good, that is cross price elasticity of demand. So, percentage change in demand of commodity 1 divided by percentage change in price of commodity 2. This is the formula for cross price elasticity. Now, suppose X and Y are substitutes. So, X and Y, say X is tea and Y is coffee. So, if Y's price increases, people are going to switch their consumption to tea. So, obviously, if price of Y increases, then demand for X will go up. So, if the two commodities are substitutes, then the cross price elasticity of demand is positive. And if the two commodities are complements, for example, X is tea and Y is sugar, then what is going to happen? If the price of Y increases, then demand for tea also is going to go down. So, if the two commodities are jointly consumed, that is, they are complements, then the cross price elasticity of demand is negative. The value of cross price elasticity of demand is negative. Okay. So now price elasticity of supply. Now the type price elasticity of supply doesn't have other things. Like elasticity of demand has cross price elasticity of demand, own price elasticity of demand, income elasticity of demand. But in case of elasticity of supply, we only have price elasticity of supply, because supply, there are not no other things that will control the supply as price. There are no other things that controls the supply of a commodity as price. Yes, there are non-price determinants of supply as well, but we don't have elasticity concept for those determinants. We only have price elasticity of supply. So that is the only kind of elasticity that supply side has. Okay, now what is price elasticity of supply? It is exactly the same as demand. Price elasticity of supply measures the responsiveness of quantity supplied to a change in price. It is necessary for a firm to know how quickly and effectively it can respond to changing market conditions, especially to price changes. Because why price is so important in the field of supply? Why price is the most important aspect for supply? Because producers always want to maximize their profit, and if you want to maximize their profit, you will have to adjust your supply with the changing market conditions, especially to price changes. Okay, so price elasticity of supply is basically measuring the responsiveness of quantity supplied to a change in price. And the following formula can be used to calculate the price elasticity of supply. It is just same as the price elasticity of demand formula. This is the formula to calculate PES, or price elasticity of supply. So price elasticity of supply is percentage change in quantity supplied divided by percentage change in price. So do you understand the mathematical, this thing? The mathematical notations? Percentage delta means delta, capital delta signifies change. Percentage change in quantity supplied, QS, divided by percentage change in P, price. Okay, so you can write either of them. In the formula, you can write either of them. Percentage delta QS divided by percentage delta P. So that's okay. You don't have to, if you don't want to write this one, don't go for it. Just in short, you can write it. If you do understand the mathematical notations, I'm sure you do understand that. Okay, now there is a quick example. And unlike price elasticity of demand, price elasticity of demand will always have a negative sign, negative sign, because we all know that price and quantity demanded are negatively related, but price and quantity supplied are positively related. So price elasticity of supply will always have a positive sign, because as price goes up, producers supply more. So there is a positive relationship. We all know that supply curve is positively sloped, and whenever price goes down, producers supply less. So there is always a positive relationship between percentage change in quantity supplied and percentage change in price. So price elasticity of supply is going to carry a positive sign along with it. Now there is a quick example. As we can see on the right hand side, price of a good falls from rupees 15 to rupees 10, and the supply decreases from 100 units to 50 units. So what is my price elasticity of supply? So my old quantity is 100, new quantity is 50. So what is my percentage change in quantity? Obviously 50%. Obviously 50%. And price changes from 15 to 10. Price was 15 before, now it becomes 10. So what is my percentage change? What is my percentage change? It's 5 by 15. So it's 1/3. So what is my value of elasticity? 1.5. Okay, so ES is greater than 1. So the value of elasticity of supply is 1.5. It is greater than 1, which means it is a case of elastic supply. Now, these are the different range of values of PES. Whenever price elasticity of supply is greater than 1, we call it elastic supply. Whenever it is equal to 1, we call it unitary elastic supply or unit elastic supply, just as in the case of demand. Whenever ES is less than 1, we call it price inelastic supply. Whenever ES is equal to 0, we call it perfectly inelastic supply. Whenever ES is equal to infinity, we call it perfectly elastic supply. Now let's have a look how the supply curves for each of the ranges looks like. Here the first one is ES greater than 1, which means it is price elastic supply. Always remember price elastic supply. Always remember that for a price elastic supply, the supply curve will always be flatter. For a price elastic supply, which is ES greater than 1, the supply curve will always be flatter. And for a next one is ES equal to 1, which is unit elastic supply. So the supply curve is going to be a straight line. It is neither flatter nor very steeper. It is just a straight line because ES is equal to 1. It is not very flatter, not very steeper. It will be passing through the origin. It is a 45-degree straight line. It is a 45-degree upward sloping straight line whenever ES is equal to 1. Do remember that. Why does it happen? Because percentage change in price is equal to percentage change in quantity. So this BD distance is always equal to the CA distance. That is why this line is a 45-degree line. That is why ES is equal to 1. And when ES is less than 1, the supply curve is relatively steeper, as you can see it. The supply curve is relatively steeper. The distance of BD is lesser than the distance of CA, which means if price increases, then the quantity supplied falls in a greater extent. If the price increases, the quantity supplied, if the price increases, then the quantity supplied increases by a greater extent. So that means it is relatively inelastic, okay? And that means it is relatively inelastic. If the price increases by a greater extent, then the quantity supplied increases by a lesser extent. That is the other way around. Price is always measured in the vertical axis and supply is measured in the horizontal axis. So if price increases by a greater extent, then quantity supplied increases by a lesser extent. So that's why we can see the curve is S3 is relatively steeper. Okay, that indicates inelastic supply. Now moving on to the fourth one, where the supply curve is vertical, which indicates that no matter how much percentage, by how much percentage my price increases or decreases, my supply is not going to change at all. It is always going to remain fixed. That indicates perfectly inelastic supply. And the fifth one and the final one is elasticity of supply is equal to infinity. That means whenever price increases, the supply increases by an infinite amount. Even if price increases by a very, very slight portion, then supply increases by an infinite amount, infinitely large amount. So you can see that the distance between A and C is way lesser than the distance between B and D. So it is very, very, here in this case, in the last case, the supply is very, very sensitive to price change. Even if you change the price by 1%, the supply is going to increase by a huge, huge, huge percentage. So that is why the elasticity of supply is perfectly elastic. It is equal to infinity. So these are the range of values of PES. Now, let me ask you, anyone has any question regarding this? Ma'am would, yeah, sugar and tea. Ma'am, would you give this PPT for price elasticity? Yes, absolutely. Yes, yes. Yesterday I had posted the elasticity of demand PPT. So I will tell you not to download it. Just download the updated one, because I have included the elasticity of supply also in the same PPT. So just once I upload this one, so you download it, because everything you will get in one place: elasticity of demand and elasticity of supply. Now, till this point, does anyone have any question? Is there any difficulty in understanding anything? Like the different ranges of price elasticity of supply, did you understand it? And the respective diagrams for it, did you understand? It's just like price elasticity of demand. Just like we have done the different ranges of price elasticity of demand, the same thing is there for price elasticity of supply. Do you have any question? Please type it in the chat box, and I can explain it again. Because otherwise, then I will go to the last topic of discussion for today. That is the determinants of supply, elasticity of supply. That is the last topic. The curve, yes, Shojit, you didn't understand the curves. ES greater than 1. Okay, ES greater than 1, Shojit is asking, ES greater than 1, he did not understand. Okay, ES greater than 1 means the first one. So ES greater than 1 means supply is elastic. Supply is relatively elastic. ES greater than 1 means what? Your price changes, your percentage change in price is less than your percentage change in quantity supplied. So you can see that here price changes by a slight amount, but quantity changes by a greater amount. Quantity of supply changes by a greater amount. So your numerator is greater than the denominator. So obviously the ratio is greater than 1. So that is why price elasticity of supply is greater than 1. And as a result, what happens? The supply curve becomes flatter. So whenever, supply is relatively elastic, that is, it is greater than 1, the elasticity of supply is greater than 1, the supply curve is flatter, which means that with a slight change in price, the supply is going to change in a much greater amount. So that is what is meant by elastic supply. So the value of elasticity of supply is greater than 1. Is greater than 1. And as a result, the curve, the supply curve is flatter. It is flatter. On the contrary, when it is less than 1, it is steeper. On the contrary, when price elasticity of demand, price elasticity of supply is less than 1, the supply curve is steeper. Because in that case, you see the change in price is way higher than the change in quantity demanded. So your quantity supplied is not responding. Your quantity supplied is not responding in an equal manner with response to change in price. So your price is changing by a greater amount than your quantity supplied. So that is why, as a result, the curve, the supply curve, becomes steeper. I hope now this is understood. Now the last thing, but definitely not the least, that we need to know what are the determinants of price elasticity of supply. Time. With time, the elasticity increases. Okay, with time, the elasticity increases. Because suppose, as time passes by, elasticity of supply increases. Because suppose a product is newly launched in a market, so people do not know about the product. But as time passes by, people get to know the product, they buy the product, and as time passes by, the product creates a brand loyalty. among the people. So as time passes by, when price will increase, the supply of that particular product is also going to increase by a greater percentage. So as time passes by, the price elasticity of supply will go up. Now the second point is ability to store output. So ability to store output. Suppose you can store your output. Suppose you can store your product. So what will happen? Your elasticity of supply is going to be less, because you know that you can store your output. So you can keep it for future sale. So whenever the price is going to go up, you will store the output and you will not supply it now. You will store the output and sell it later when the price goes up. So for now, your elasticity of supply is going to be lesser. Factor mobility. Factor mobility means that suppose you can use the same factor for production of two different commodities. So if you can do the factor mobility, suppose you can shift the labor, you can quickly shift the labor from commodity excess production to commodity wise production, then elasticity of supply will be higher, because you can quickly respond to price change. If the factor mobility was not there, you cannot shift labor force from factory 1 to factory 2, then you will not be quickly responding to price change. You will not be quickly responding to market change, market conditions change. So your price elasticity of supply is going to be higher if factor mobility is present. Change in cost of production. Now, if your cost of production, suppose you want to produce something and it is a costly option for you. Suppose you want to produce something and it is a costly option for you. The cost of production is huge for the production of that particular commodity. So what will you do then? Then your elasticity of supply will be less. Your elasticity of supply will be less, because you cannot respond quickly to price change if your cost of production is very, very high. Excess supply. For excess supply also, your price elasticity of supply is going to be less, because you already know that there are excess commodity available in the market. You already have a stock of that. So why will you further increase your supply? You will not increase your supply even if the price increases, because you already have some excess stock at your godown or at your factory. So you have to clear that first. So you will not respond to change in price. So your price elasticity of supply is going to be less in that case if you have excess supply. Availability of infrastructural facilities. If better infrastructural facilities are available to you, then you can quickly respond to change in price. Yes, in that case, price elasticity of supply is going to be high. Agricultural or industrial product. Usually for agricultural and industrial product, price elasticity of supply is not very high. Why? Because agricultural products, agricultural activity are very much related to weather. So it is an uncertain thing. Even if the price is very high in the market, you overnight cannot grow a crop, or you overnight cannot change the production of a crop. Okay, so price elasticity of supply for agricultural product is usually less. And for industrial product also, we face the same kind of difficulty. Why? Because for industrial product also, you face some setback. Suppose this factor mobility in industrial sector is not always available, because you need specialized people for specialized production. So responsiveness of supply to the price change is less in case of agricultural and industrial products. So that is why price elasticity of supply is usually low for these products. Okay. That is the last thing that I was okay. Now, is there any question? If there is any question, then I can take it, and then I will end this class. Ma'am, is it possible that with passing time, the price elasticity of supply decreases? because with any product is driven to extinction due to stiff competition from other items or brands. Yes, that is another aspect. Yes, we can say that. Yes, definitely, strangest storm. Okay. Yes, that happens. Why not? Because if you can't create a good reputation, as I was giving the example, suppose you have launched a new product and it takes time to create a brand reputation in the market. So if you can't create that brand reputation, no matter by what amount your price goes up, obviously you know that there is no demand for your product, you know that there is no demand for your product, so you will obviously not produce it. Yeah, that can happen, but usually we see that with time, if there is no stiff competition available, and it is not going to extinction, uh, we usually see that price elasticity of supply increases over time. Yes, if there is stiff competition available, if there is stiff competition present in the market, it can happen. The other way around can happen. Yes, it can happen. So, okay. Yes, economics is itself uncertain. Yes. And any other question? Any other question? Any question regarding the understanding of the graphs? Hmm? No. Okay. Then keep an eye on the classroom and expect an assignment this weekend, because we have done a lot of we have covered a lot. Until which part of this I will tell you. The syllabus has not been decided yet. I'll tell you. Not an issue. Next week, or maybe I can post it in the classroom also. I can post it in the WhatsApp groups, Telegram groups. I'll give it to you. Hmm. Okay, so expect an assignment during this weekend, and because we have covered a lot of it, and so a assignment will not be attendance. Yes, I will send out the Google form in a while after this class. So assignments will be in the form of MCQ. Not an issue. You don't have to write long answers. Okay. So bye bye. See you in the next class. I mean, talk to you in the next class, not exactly see you. So, bye. Thank you.